Hey, folks, Lindsey Huddleston with Sports Psychology Solutions back in the building. It's that night over at the home of the Cosmos, Hamtramck High School, getting ready for their senior night. They're going to be taking on Hazel Park. And I'm here with the man who crosses all the T's, dots all the I's, keeps the trains running on time. Their great athletic director, Mr. Brian Anderson. You say, who am I talking about right now? Right? How you doing, man?
My whole district would love to meet that guy, but I appreciate the kind words.
No, we know how I go, man. ADs are undervalued in many cases. And I'm not just saying this to, get props, but we know how that goes. You're always behind the scenes. You've been here in the morning. You're here till like the last ball bounces. But how you doing today?
Oh, it's a great day. Anytime you have a game day, it's a good day.
Yeah, game days are good. And you guys have been getting ready for this for a while. I was fortunate enough. You guys invited me over last week to kind of do a little promo. So what does a game like tonight mean, a senior night for Hamtramck basketball?
You know, it's a fun night, and it means a lot more because it's a group of kids that down the line, if you wanted to have a Hamtramck athlete and say to the 8th graders coming in, here's what you want, you know, down the line I could point at any of them and say, pick one. Be that guy.
And that'll be it. I'm just going to pull this closer. You're doing great. Oh, you know, and I got that sense when I was with Coach Foster last week talking about just the people that come back and how the young men are bought into what's going on. Why is that potentially so surprising that it's happening here at Hamtramck and people don't really know about it?
For me personally, from the time I met DJ, I've been here 2 years. It's not a big surprise. Maybe the tangible 16-3, hopefully about to be 17-3 record. Maybe that could be considered a little bit of a surprise just based on where we came from.
Sure.
But from the first moment that I met DJ, man, I knew he was doing things the right way.
Yeah.
I knew he had a plan. I knew the motivation was there.
Right.
So I knew this season was coming. I just didn't know that it was coming this season.
That's a good thing, right?
I'm not mad about it at all.
Yeah. One thing about DJ Foster, that is, he's a first impression kind of guy. When you meet him, you get all of them, and from that point, you're like, okay, either you with that. Now, some people probably can't really handle what he's on, and I'm not saying in a bad way, but people like yourself and myself as well, we can, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when you come to a new place, and I got hired in a weird situation.
Okay,
because,
talk about it.
Well, I came here. I got hired in December 2 years ago, and so I came over. There was a couple issues in the fall, and you know, hey, things happen. It's in the past,
right?
And so I came in having to clean some things up. And when you come to a new place after being somewhere for 5 years, you're evaluating everybody.
Sure.
From the principal all the way down to the athletes, you're evaluating everything. And my first 2 events I had here were basketball games.
Okay.
And so I spent 2 days evaluating DJ, and that was all the evaluating I needed to do.
You're moving on to the next, huh?
You know, after that, you know, it was funny. Part of why I knew we were going to get along, actually, was he called me and said, hey, do you have your own guys, or are you planning on keeping us around?
Oh, wow. Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, and anytime you can be that blunt and straightforward with me, you and me are going to retire together.
Yeah, because you said we can connect, we can do it. I got you all jumbled up with cords everywhere and all that. So you already were able to kind of get your flagship, you know, people together, the basketball program, which is really important. So would you say right now, today, basketball has kind of been, you know, the program that's been out front for Hamtramck sports?
I would say so.
Okay.
You know,
no slight to anybody else or any other program.
No, it's not a knock on anybody else at all. Them and our soccer programs have been very successful. And the fun thing about our basketball kids is they're multi-sport kids. You see them in cross country, you see them in track.
Sure.
So you see them doing a multitude of other things.
Right.
Quite a few baseball kids actually too. And
yeah, I got Michael Jordan played baseball, right? So that's good.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to put a little challenge to you. Now, it's not a big thing, but just tell me where we're going with the future of high school sports and the future of athletic directors who want to kind of grow with it. Because you're a young man, you're coming in, you know, you're hitting the ground running and all that. So when we start projecting out, when you got some people who are leaving high school athletic and high school sports, and you're kind of in it, what do we see in the direction it's going into? What should we be looking forward to? How do we kind of prepare ourselves for it, you think?
You know, I just think with high school sports as a whole, everybody talks about how kids changed, and I think we changed.
Oh, wow.
I think the adults changed. You know, one of the best lessons I ever learned was as a young basketball coach about a decade ago. I'm getting mad because I'm making kids run and I'm screaming, and I had an older assistant who would do a lot more than I did.
Sure.
And I'm getting mad because there's this kid, he's got this grin on his face the whole time, and he's laughing. He's still running hard, but he's laughing. I'm thinking he's not getting the point.
Right.
And my assistant puts his arm around me and goes, "That's the most attention that kid's been paid this week, man. No wonder he's smiling."
Wow.
And, you know, that hit home. It was like a missile, man. And
wow. Because you're saying they're not responding like I need them, but he's saying, dude, I don't care. Just keep talking to me. Just keep focus on me. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I guess that goes to say where many of our young people are and what they need, and there's different ways that we can provide that then.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, I think some of the problems we have is people lower the bar and then they complain that the kids are barely clearing the bar. Wow. And with our kids, and you got to meet the young men that are in our basketball program.
Fine young man.
And DJ keeps that bar about 7 feet high and then some.
Yeah. Well, even when he talked about the academic requirement, he said as a senior you got to have a 3.0. He said, I'm trying to prepare you for Division I basketball. And then when I hear him say that, I look and I say, wow, if you have talented guys, then programs will look at them, and now you have an opportunity for the young men to transition because of the coach's standard.
Yeah, and then you're always going to get recruited. Because if nothing else, they know you're going to be eligible.
Right. And then what does that say for the program? That's a win for the program.
Yeah, and it shows how much more that he cares about what they do academically. And don't get me wrong, you've met DJ. He takes every game personally.
Oh, sure. He's playing or not.
There is no 24-hour rule with him. He's taking the losses home. He's as competitive as they come. But at the end of the day, he will go 0-20 and make sure everybody has a productive adulthood. Yeah. Then he would win a state title and everybody still be hanging around years later.
Right. That says a lot. And I think a night like tonight, when the seniors are being recognized, when his former players are coming back, people get more of a glimpse of what that. I'm sitting here with Brian Anderson, the athletic director for Hamtramck High School, the home of the Cosmos. I mean, you came in, you get to tout the reputation of a Rudy Tomjanovich who played here, and some other great players in the years. What is it like to be part of the history of Hamtramck sports?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I mean, you walk in here and there's a dozen reminders every day of all the great stuff that's happened, and if nothing else, it's a constant message of, even though there's a couple down years here, it can happen here.
It can happen here.
It has. It's not just it can happen, it has happened.
Right. And I think that's tough for young people, well, I should say in this generation. They're kind of like the show me generation, like, what do you mean? But if you can point to things and make the connections, I'm sure that goes a long way.
Absolutely. And, it's just one of those things of, that guy walked those hallways, that guy lived in that house.
Right.
And, like I said, it's not about the fact that it can happen. It did.
It has happened.
You can be the next one to do it.
Right. We do it here. And this facility, man, I mean, wow, way to inherit a great facility. What is it like coming in here? And give me the proper name for the facility that's on the front.
It's the Hamtramck Community Center.
Yes.
And, man, I remember even playing these guys in high school. This was one of my favorite gyms to play in.
You enjoyed coming over here, huh?
Oh, yeah. We didn't have a lot of success in it.
Right.
But
yeah, you remember that part, too.
But I remember I was walking in and just being impressed by it. Like, man, I'd love to play here.
Wow.
And now, turns out I'm employed here, and I get to be here all the time. So.
And you guys look like, this is a compliment to you, keeping the upkeep. Like you just put the floor down. I mean, it looks so modern. 50 years old, is it?
Yeah, just about.
Wow, it does. It looks, you walk in, and even DJ said in our interview that he was so surprised when he walked in. And I think it's something to be said about your edifice, your location, and what it does. It makes you want to be here and work hard, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, it's, the fact of the matter is, if they see us working hard, if they see us taking pride in what we do,
right?
These kids are going to take pride in what they do. If they see the fact that we care about the floors, we care about having their pictures up here.
Sure.
If we do everything first class, they're going to want to do the same thing.
That's it. You're doing it. Sitting with Brian Anderson, the athletic director for Hamtramck, doing some great things right here. So before we wrap up, is there any more things you want to share, anything to make note of, so we can keep an eye on Hamtramck sports and what's going on?
Man, if you guys never hear my name passed today, it means I'm doing a great job. But I do appreciate taking the time with me.
Yes.
I'm really proud of all these guys. Obviously, the flagship program right now is basketball, but there's a lot of other programs that are working hard and trying to get to this same spot. And like I say, I knew this year was coming. I didn't know it was coming this year, but man, I'm proud of these guys, and the best part about it is it's all just a bunch of guys that you want to be around, man.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll make a sports analogy. I don't know if the Lakers is your team, but when they got LeBron, man, they was ready to win. So when they got you 2 years ago, they're like, it's time to do it, right?
Yeah. Hey, that might be the only time in the next decade I get compared to LeBron, so I got nothing to go out for you, man.
I'm going to make sure I put a LeBron picture up there, too, man. It's good. Hey, I appreciate you.
Hey, much appreciated, man.
Okay. Lindsey Hollis on SPS. We're over over at Hamtramck for the senior night. Brian Anderson signing off, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking in. That's right, folks. Lindsey Huddleston with SPS back in the building on southwest side of Detroit. How do you hit a free throw? How do you finish strong? That's important. But the other part of the spectrum is
always packed, always loud, always crazy. So it's a tough place to play in. You gotta go in there with a mindset.
So I'll be in there tomorrow. That's really my motivation. Is I want to be like Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown shoots like